Everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house, and of course Christmas week. We're in day 4 in New Zealand, and I know it's still day 3 of in the United States, Europe, and places like that. So a big shout out to everybody out there, wherever you are around the world. Africa, yes, shout out to Africa. Shout out to Asia, yes, Latin America as well, and of course Antarctica, why not? And Arctic. Let's go. Let's spread the love, of course, around the world. Am I missing any other continents? North America, South America. I think I got Asia, Europe. I think I got it all. Australia. Yeah, that's right. Australia, New Zealand. A big shout out. Pacific Islands. Big shout out to you. And of course, wherever you are around the world. If you're in Bali, Matt in Bali, good to see you, Matt in Bali. Wherever you are around the world, shout out. Let us know in the chat there. It's a lot of fun. So, woohoo, USA. And someone's in there chat there with the USA. Hey, welcome, of course. We're going to have a bit of fun today, man. This is another fun day. We're going to be talking about Pulsechain and PulseX price predictions 2025. Not my price predictions, but one of our friends that we often commentate on, who's been commentating. We've been referencing his stuff because I think he's becoming a bigger influencer on Twitter. So we're going to be looking at that. Hope you guys will enjoy that. It's the second time we've had a look at his perspective on valuation, so we're going to check into that a bit later. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat as well. We're going to say hello, but we've also got a poll up and running, a bit of a fun Christmas Pulsechain and PulseX poll. How many X price returns in the future? Let's say 2 years. You know, it's kind of where we say, or 2 years plus from the all-time low. Now, no one knows what the all-time low is going to be, so you have to kind of make a ballpark prediction there. We've got less than or equal to 10x, less than or equal to 100x, less than or equal to 1000x, or less than, equal, or greater than 10,000x as well. So remember, Overwatch, Rack and Michelle's, who's one pretty much our biggest whale in the Pulsechain and Hex ecosystem, pretty much outside the OA stuff, is he's called 10,000x, hasn't he, in 2 years from the all-time low, whatever that will be. So get in there and make your prediction. We'll have a look at that later on when we get up to it. So we're going to get up to the price prediction later in the live stream. Probably before the Hex Daily Stats come out, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, we're going to get into stock market, Wednesday stock market USA results. We're going to get into crypto as well. We're also going to obviously get into Hex charts and all of our favorites that we've been following as well. And of course, we've got a bit of news probably coming up today, tomorrow on a few other exciting projects also, so stay tuned for that. Let's get into the chat though, and we've got 22 votes. Let's go. Let's see if we can do 100 votes. Remember yesterday we did what? Was it yesterday's poll? We did 122 votes or something. It was pretty good. Sandy Beach in the house there with the sandy beaches. I like that. I think everyone is thinking the same thing, says Sarah. You'll have to let us know what you mean by that, Sarah. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Let us know. And of course, always a pleasure to see Sarah in the house there and Sandy Beach. Hey, big shout out to the ladies this Christmas. I hope that you guys have a wonderful time. And yeah, just enjoy things. Just sit back and enjoy. Maybe get I don't know, what is it, a cognac or something? I don't know, something like that. I know that one of my sisters, yes, I have a sister. One of my sisters, she loves the I think it's the Scotch and Coke. That's her drink. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Check my pulse says, good evening, Superman. Woohoo! Good evening, everybody. Says check my pulse. Nice poll. We all think alike. Says check my pulse. Well, we're gonna find out. We're going to find out how much alike we think pretty shortly. Check my pulse. 1000x is going to be absolutely insane. Definitely have to do a meetup on some tropical islands to check my pulse. Yeah, well, maybe Matt might invite us to Bali. Obviously, it's a pretty good location. I'm not sure where, actually, Bali, is it? I think it's out in the middle Pacific somewhere. So, yeah, pretty cool. Crypto League says, no one soul is listening to Richard for Hex, he said. No reason why Hex could not reach 10,000x, he said, for Pulse ETH done 14,000x. That's right, Crypto League. We haven't forgotten about that. But of course, at the moment, people are a little bit distracted by the price chart, just the way it goes. Sandy Beach says, hello, Hex Token, everybody. Good to see Sandy Beach. Brian, one of our community leaders in the house as well. Big shout out to Brian. What's up, folks? Rango as well, a regular community member. Big shout out to you, Rango. I hope you're enjoying the summer weather in New Zealand. Pretty sure Rango's from New Zealand. So pretty shout out to you. Brendan says, hey, Superman and family will be lurking in the background today. Hey, Brendan, appreciate that. Brendan is kind of my fellow PulseX trader there. And big shout out to Brendan there. Ben says UK, from the UK. Big shout out to you in the UK there, Ben. Now, it must be pretty cold there in the UK now with the weather changing. Not sure if it snows where you are, Ben, but let us know in the chat. 3L says, greetings, everybody. Los Angeles. Yeah, LA in the house. Now, let's have a look at LA. LA's not too far behind us, is it? It's a long way behind us, actually. 21 hours behind Kiwi time here down in New Zealand. And, of course, 21 hours. It is currently 3:35 in the afternoon, 3:35 in the afternoon. I hope it's warm where you are. Obviously, a lot of people moving to Florida, but hopefully wherever you are in the United States, it's warm there. Big shout out. And I'm not sure about LA. Does LA get snow? It must be warmer down there, I would have thought. Probably fairly warm. Maybe it gets cool, though. Cool weather. What else there? We got Pia says, let's go. Definitely let's go. And Lal says, I'm part of the Hive Global Mind, says Lal. That's kind of, I don't know. Is that like Elon Musk's little brain chip? I'm not sure. The Hive Mind. He's always talking about stuff like that, digital mind and stuff like that. What does he say? Digital greater than biological or something like that. He often uses phrases like that. Woohoo! Yeah, definitely get excited. Brian says Arizona in the house. Big shout out to you. Now, Arizona, that's where Kerry Lake, right? She's challenging in the courts. Looks like she's been pretty successful so far. All the witnesses, it's pretty shocking, actually, what's coming out of that court case at the moment. So all the best for justice. We all want justice. So hopefully we'll get a bit of the around that area. North Coast says Sandy Beach, North Coast. North Carolina. Went down. I've been to North Carolina myself, and very green, very lots of valleys. In New Zealand, we've got so much variety of green, but North Carolina, based on my memory, was all just like a really dark green, and of course a lot of valleys. And I remember that kind of seemed like the place. I found it very kind of offsetting for my eyes, but I think I was getting used to it over time. I want to be down under right now, says Sandy Beach. Yeah, it's definitely getting hot here. It's getting warm finally after all the rain is gone. It's finally getting warm here. What's up, everybody? Says Hex Force 1, Arizona in the house. Good to see you, Hex Force 1. Ted Nelson as well has arrived. Hey, everybody, good to see you, Ted. We'll try and leave a timestamp at the end of the video. Hopefully, remember, so that people can jump to the sections as they will. Hey, everybody, from Ted, onboarding a YouTuber. Was it a YT gamer, a YouTuber gamer, into Hex in about 3.5 hours on Discord. His name is AYY Dylan. Streams Fortnite every day. He has 34,000 subs. That's fantastic. So big welcome to AYY Dylan. Looks like it's going to become one of the latest Hexicans, and a big shout out to him. And streams Fortnite every day. So that's fantastic. I did download Fortnite the other day on my computer. Yes, I do like to play some games like that every so often. I really did grow up with Halo, though. Halo is kind of my thing. Halo and some of the battle games is kind of what I grew up on there. Hello, familiar Christians in the house. Thank you, Hex Token Sandwich. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. Matt Jones says, morning all, Merry Christmas. Definitely Merry Christmas to everybody in the chat there and to your families as well. Awesome. Brian says, Sandy Beach. What else there? Crypto League says, RH said, no reason why Hex could not do a 10,000X, then Hex did. So RH said ETH did 14,000X, and no reason why Pulse could not do 14,000X. So listen to the man and hold 14,000X Pulse in 2.5 years. Nice one there, Crypto League. That is very aspirational there. We are holding on. We're holding on. Wookie says, comes from the planet, what is it? Kayashi. It's just like Earth. Was it? Kayashik. I'm pretty sure you're from New Zealand, Wookie. Come on. But maybe you are from the planet Kayashi, and maybe that's true too. And maybe that means I'm from Kayashik as well. I don't know. Maybe it's just a Wookiee. We got Michael's in the house there. All right. Good to see Michael Racine in the house. Brendan says, Merry Christmas, everybody, celebrating the birth of our Lord and Savior. Richard Hart says, Brendan. Well, that's kind of blasphemic, but that's what you want to put in there. Anyway, Brian's in the house there. Group, good to see you, Brian. Who else is in here? We love Kerry Lake, says Lyle. Yeah, I think she's definitely looking good. Looking good in the court case. The witnesses are exposing some pretty bad stuff. Michael Racine says, Superman killing it every day. I appreciate that, Michael. Was watching court all day, says Brian. Lau says, I'm also in Arizona, says Lau. Nice one. Well, you guys will be looking at that Kerry Lake thing pretty closely. That's the evidence coming out pretty damning so far. Crush that like, says Michael. Definitely crush the like. Spent hours listening to Kerry Lake courtroom stuff today, says Lel. Nice one. And of course, Brian says we've got to play Fortnite Boss. He says we might have to do that. I'm only a pleb in it, but we might have to do that. I only downloaded it the other day. West Oz, 42 degrees, Christmas Day. Are you kidding me, P Money? 42 degrees Celsius. That's going to be crazy. Crazy there in West Australia there. Dave Down Under says, I know it's been a long wait, but even though we might get Pulsechain in April, May, it feels like it's getting closer, says Dave Down. I like that sentiment. Yeah, well, hey, look, if we get that Pulsechain V3 testnet, that's very bullish for that kind of time frame to play out. So very, very cool. We did cover that video, all the information that we had yesterday in yesterday's video. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. Sandy Beach says, P Money, that's cold. It's not Fahrenheit, man. It's Celsius. It's Celsius, Sandy. That's what we have down here, Australia, New Zealand, Celsius. We use Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So, yeah. Good to see you, man. Superman says, Element Hex. Hey, it's good to see you as well. Genuine says, good morning. All good to see you too, Genuine. Greetings from the Tron. Greetings from the Tron, says Brent. You're talking about Tron Network there. Sandy Beach says, just did another miner for 30 days on a Bitcoin with the asset tracker. Nice one there, Sandy Beach. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right, so here we are on hex.com. If you haven't checked it out, it's the links in the video description. Spread the good word, as we say. We're going to jump straight into Richard Hart today. Yes, we are. We're going to get into Richard Hart. He posted 2 hours ago some more fashion from Richard Hart, but this time, this stuff is stuff I like. I like particularly, like you can love it or not like it, but I particularly like this sort of cool. You know, I like futuristic things, so that plays into my preferences. And it's got Montclair fiber optic Pal Mangal's jacket crossover. So Montclair fiber optic Pal Mangal's jacket crossover. Hopefully, I probably butchered that, but hey, there it is, a video. Let's watch a video of Richard Hart. And of course, it's got a really nice sentiment in this. It is really nice. He actually wishes us a very nice Christmas. So let's hear from Richard Hart to kick it off.
Richard Hart here with my $6,000 or $9,000 Palm Angels Montclair fiber optic crossover jacket collaboration. We got some Uggs shoes, we got some Montclair pants, we got some crystal Montclair Palm Angels glasses. Just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and love. Hope you're having a great day.
So yeah, I think it's pretty crazy the way he's, I think he did these model shoots with this model and this commercial photographer, and I think that when he did those shoots, he seems to have kept some of that those posing abilities. So it's kind of cool. Sorry about that. I had the mute on for a second there. Let's watch this one more time and play this out.
Hello everybody, Richard Hart here with my $6,000 or $9,000 Palm Angels Montclair fiber optic crossover jacket collaboration. We got some Uggs shoes, we got some Montclair pants, we got some crystal Montclair Palm Angels glasses. Just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and love. Hope you're having a great day.
So that's pretty, I reckon that jacket's pretty cool. I mean, you can imagine going out for the night with that. That's pretty cool. Now, what it has got, it's got fiber optics in it. So these white lines are glowing with the fiber optics. So I've probably got some little battery in there somewhere funneling through all these fiber optics to make it glow. But it's pretty cool. Shame the footage is a little bit dark, but otherwise that's pretty neat. So very cool. I had to start with that. That was kind of a no-brainer there. All right, so cool. Who else there? Ted Nelson says kind of cool looking jacket. I think so. Kind of looking cool there. Michael says, Mike, yeah, I had the mute on for a couple of seconds. Fortunately, Brian let me know that it was muted, so that's okay. All right, let us get into it. We're going to jump away into stock market. That's kind of the highlights from Richard. He's talked a few things about Bitcoin and stuff like that. That was kind of the highlight for me. Let's jump into the stock market, though. S&P 500 rides tech rally higher as consumer strength soothes recession fears. Thank goodness for that, right? We've been bleeding out last week, and the stock market been bleeding out this week. And fortunately, Wednesday kind of stopped the tide here, which is kind of cool. Once it, we don't want to get this, we get 6 weeks of pullbacks in the market. Can definitely do things like that. we're trying to avoid that sort of play out. There's a lot of value lost in that period of time. And of course, here we are. So this is good to see a bit of a stop of the bleed out, and we got some nice little green days. Look at that. Woo! So the Dow Jones Industrials has the top 30 industrials in it. A 1.6% increase today. So finally a green day, a solid green day. They're up 526 points back to 33,376. We got the S&P 500 up 0.5% to 56 points, up to 3,878. And then, of course, we've got the NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it up 1.54%, 162 points, back to 10,709. So good to see that. It'd be really nice if we can get Thursday, Friday, at least modestly green as well. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be our mini baby little Santa rally in the stock market. That'd be kind of cool. The dollar index there up a little bit though too. And of course up 1/3%, up 103.9 on the index. Now let's check out commodities. West Texas there, up $2.34, up 3% on oil on both of them. Brent oil up $2.48, 3% to $82.47. And crude there, West Texas crude up, it's a bit flat now. It's moving around quite a bit. It's kind of flat, $78.48 there on the West Texas. Now, gold and silver, pretty flat. Also, both of them are pretty flat. And of course, $18.24 for gold, $24.19 for silver. Silver can't really break out that $24 to $28 mark range. So we'll see what happens in the future. Probably silver's probably going to be, still keep an eye on that one in terms of potentiality for doing well further in the future. I think really waiting for that Fed pivot and the US dollar to pull back. That will really make those rally, right? That's kind of what we're looking at there. S&P 500 jump Wednesday, underpinned by a dip buying in tech and data, showing the consumer remains upbeat about the economy. Can you believe it? So pretty resilient consumer at the moment, and that boded well for less recession. And of course, they've started to forget about the interest rates, and so we'll just come back to that later on, right? Another day. Beaten down tech stocks were snapped up as the climb in Treasury yields cooled. Data showed that consumer confidence rose more than expected. Obviously, 70% of the U.S. economy, remember, is consumption. And of course, the U.S. consumer is the big consumer in the world, and they drive a lot of GDP, etc. And of course, here we are. Their confidence is high, higher than expected at least. The confidence board's consumer confidence gauge jumped to 108.3 from 101.4, and of course, beating economists' forecast for a reading of 101. That's actually a pretty good beating, right? So good to see that. Data showing a strong consumer sentiment, a key indicator of consumer spending, which drives the bulk of economic growth, eased fears about a recession. Maybe it's just going to defer the recession a little bit further out. That's kind of where it's probably going to be. Still expecting a recession for next year. Consumer expectations for any potential deterioration in the labor market, more modest expectation for wage gains. So consumer expectations for any potential deterioration in the labor market, more modest expectations for wage gains, and concern about a recession have seemingly retreated. Yeah, it's probably a mirage, but we'll take it while it's happening, right? We'll take it while it's happening at the moment. Regional banking stocks drove financial higher. So the banks, they seem to do well all the time, but the regional banks drove higher, and of course, a couple of those up there as well. The earnings front also pointed to a strong consumer as Nike delivered blowout quarterly results and upbeat guidance that suggested the sportswear giant has trimmed its bloated inventory levels. Its stock jumped 13%. So obviously everyone needs shoes, but maybe they don't need high brand Nike shoes. So this kind of a quasi luxury good in some ways. But that's a positive sign of spending. Nike made progress moving through excessive inventory in the region, North America, and ended second quarter with inventory up 54% year-on-year versus 65% end of Q1. FedEx, which is also another sort of a bellwether indicator, isn't it? People moving packages around, sort of gives you a sort of a broad indicator of economic activity. FedEx Corporation also reported better than expected quarterly results and announced plans to cut a further $1 billion in costs. Estimated total savings for fiscal 2023 of $3.7 billion. So good to see that from FedEx there. Now, housing stocks held on to gains despite fresh signs of weakness in the housing sector. Now, we talked about that, right? We talked about starts being in place, being not too bad at this stage. We also talked about the permits being down, right? The permits being down. And so the future doesn't look too hot for the housing stock. And why not, right? I mean, interest rates are going up. And of course, we're expecting that Fed terminal rate to get up to at least 5 to 5.25, which means that retail rates are probably going to go up, top high 7s, 8s, something like that, early 8s. We'll see how that plays out, how that passes on. US existing home sales slipped 7.7% in November to 4 million. Isn't that a lot? That's a lot. When I'm thinking about good old New Zealand, that's just the 1 month. So 4 million there is the number there. So slipped 7.7. But that's early sign there. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Big Short, but you should go back and watch it because they go out. They want to back up the idea that they're going to short the market, the housing market, which hadn't been done before, right? And Michael Berry had kind of kicked all that off with his paper, and he's going to short it, right, as a hedge fund. Anyway, so they go out and about to parts of, I can't remember what state they were in. Was it Florida, somewhere like that? I can't remember what state it was. But they went and had a look at all these different people, and all these people wanted to sell a house. So it looked like it was top of the market, and that the quality of all the housing loans that are being bundled up were getting really bad. And so they sort of backed up their. It was a good narrative for the movie in any case, and backed up their position to short the housing market. And of course, they did amongst a couple other hedge funds, and that's the story she wrote, right? And then we got into the Great Recession after that. So interesting times. All right, so that's kind of the stock market. Let's get into crypto and pivot out of there. But before we do that, let's catch up and see any comments in the chat. Probably got a few more comments here, so let's get to that first. Christian says finally he got a bit better on the swag. Yeah, it's more in my I like futuristic stuff, so it's pretty cool. Just started my third Pulse Bitcoin mining session, says Brian. Thanks for the heads up, Sandy. Nice one. You're welcome. We must be on the same time frame. Sounds like you are pretty well. You must be one day after the beginning of the cycle there. Pretty sure it turned over yesterday, wasn't it? Pretty sure. Bob Wells says, hello, gang. Have the show on while I'm working out. Nice one there, Bob. Pump it up. Pump it up, the jam. As Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, the pump is out there, or something like that. Doesn't that what he says? The pump is out there with his hands, like it goes something like that. So out there to you at the gym there, Bob. Living on Crypto says, g'day, Suitman and Hex family. Hedron paid well yesterday. Nice one, Living on Crypto. Yeah, well, there was those two big, there's one big bidder been bidding on heaps of T-shares. And remember, they bid on those two 1,250 T-share ones, 10 million Hex each. So there would have been some good payouts for you. I think they went for about 130 billion Hedron each, I think it was, over the last 2 days. So yeah, they probably played into that. Sandy B says, Bob, you're on the rower. He probably is on the rower. He's rowing down to New Zealand or something like that. Sarah G's in house, 1000X. Yeah, 1000X. Get into the poll, folks. You remind me of the poll there, Sarah. 1000X got 58 votes. Let's see if we can get to 100, man. Let's spread the word. Let's see what the final results will be. Kristen says Pulse Bitcoin will hit 1K, says Kristen. What else there? A little bit of a laughter there, I note in that comment. Nike makes 1 billion and sells on MJ sneakers alone. I know, it's pretty wicked. Everyone's after the MJ sneakers, aren't they? That's just a money printer, the old MJ sneakers there. All right, let's get into crypto. BTC. Now, did it go? It didn't go up with the stock market. It didn't go. Yesterday, remember, it didn't really. I guess I don't think yesterday went down much or whatever. It went up slightly, maybe. Was it the day before? I'm getting a little bit muddled there. But today, it's down just a tad. The hammer has not really fallen. It's come down a little bit. We were up at 18K. But it's 16,794, down 0.66%. ETH is at 1211, down 0.5%. BNB is down 2.5% to 245. Still people trying to put question marks over BNB and their financial position. Still seeing commentators commentate about that. The stable coins are both just slightly under peg for USDC, USD Tether. Everything else is pretty similar in terms of its percentages. You can see with the light pink. Just down slightly is the market. Nothing really standing out that's down particularly big. FTT is. What is FTT at the moment? 87 cents, folks. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Down 7% today. 87 cents on FTT. And it's still got some value though, right? Still got some value. How the mighty have fallen. Now, we're going to get into some of the news around Bitcoin actually today, and that is Bitmain. Who's familiar with Bitcoin mining? Put your hand up. because Bitmain, wow, that was so fast. Their new Antminer, so that, you know how they take a lot of energy of was it a small country or something like that, to mine. I used to know the number in my head, but I can't remember, to mine Bitcoin. And of course, they released a new Antminer HS3. HS3, and of course, all the miners out there that are still mining. There's some have gone to liquidations and other things. There's all sorts of carry going with the miners, and the hash rate was sold out in only 27 seconds. 27 seconds they sold this Antminer. So imagine being on the website, buy. It's not cheap either. It is not cheap. I think it was like I think some people were buying multiple of these, like you took about 2,000 a piece or something. Thank you thank you everyone for your support. Stay tuned for our next batch. So at least they're going to have another batch coming out. Welcome to comment below on what kind of miners you expect the most. Now here is a picture of this Bitminer computer, of course, to mine Bitcoin. Sold out in 27 cents. The best performance HNS miner, $2,092 per unit. And of course, there is the details there. Spot sales start. So that was sold out super fast. So people are still doing that. Now, I think it's just better to buy crypto, to be honest, and in particular, just to buy Bitcoin and forget all of that stuff. But, you know, there's some money to be made if you can do it at scale, and you got using either hydro or something like that to get your marginal cost down to zero with the energy. It's pretty much it. That's what you want to get to. Now, this person here, I had to make notice of this comment. This guy, Fully Electric, says, not true. I did everything under 8 seconds. So, and I still did not get one. You sold out like 5 seconds, and that's not realistic. Below picture was taken 8 seconds after the option to buy showed up. The page was being refreshed every second. And of course, it's got Bitmain tech here. What is really going on here? And you can see here, it looked like he was buying what? Some big miner here, the HS3. It's got a $10,460 order here. And of course, the inventory and follow item is not sufficient. So it looks like it was sold out. So I feel sorry for that dude. But in any case, it sold out super duper fast there on the miners. Now, I don't have to talk about Bitcoin mining, but I thought this was pretty interesting little story here as well. Let me know in the chat if you actually mine Bitcoin or anything else for that matter using computers. Let us know in the chat. It's always an interesting topic. Who else is in the house there? Let's have a look here. We got Brennan says day one mining here, says Brennan. Nice. When you're mining Pulse Bitcoin, or if you got T-shares, you don't have to have a big expensive. You don't have to spend $2,000, $10,000 on a Bitmain, do you? So there we are. Wookie says Wookie just did a miner today. Nice one there, Wookie. Let me jump through some of these comments. We need to bottom. Darn it, says Michael. Yeah, the market's still looking to bottom. We're in a bear market. They're pretty gruesome sometimes, the bear markets. This one's been particularly ruthless with all those centralized players making it so much worse with their games and their scams and frauds. PulseX, Pulse 1000X and 2. I think so, says J-Man. I like where you're heading there, J-Man. I think that's a good number to myself. How many they had? 20 units. That's why they sold out. I think they were, well, with $10,000. So I don't know whether that was 5 units that they were trying to do, since that this here says $2,000 each. J-Man says, hello, Superman. Good to see you, J-Man. And Bob Wells says, I have 2 ant miners that I turned off due to electricity costs. Yeah, like I'm going to say, unless you had close to free electricity, you wouldn't want to run these miners because they are quite expensive in terms of running their costs. Brian says, I had S7 years ago, says Brian, on the old mining. Hexforce 1 says, I mine Pulse Bitcoin. Yeah, so you can forget about all the hardware miners and just get into mining Pulse Bitcoin or picking up some Hex T-shares as preference there. So think about that one. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it. I think that was the highlight there for me. I think I had something else to talk about, but we'll probably jump to that another time. Actually, I think it was, did I have it here? Just having a look to make sure I pulled it up or not. I can't remember. Let's jump out of here. We're going to jump back into there's something else I want to talk about here. Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to talk about it, but now I'm going to talk about it. That was some news here that FTX founder and former CEO Sam Bankman-Friedman has been extradited to the United States on Wednesday. Bahamas Attorney General Ryan Pindus confirmed. So it looks like he is finally going to the US. Remember, it's pretty dodgy that they pulled him into custody before the committee hearing, because none of the political stuff with the Democrat donations is going to get pulled out now, right? And this is how these guys operate. They're very, very sinister, these guys. So just the way it goes, unfortunately. That's how much the power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. Sam Bankman-Friedman's sojourn in prison apparently includes a vegan food, bi-daily medical checkups, a television set, local newspapers, and crossword puzzles, perks that reportedly few inmates at Fox Hill Prison get to enjoy, apparently. So he is getting extradited to America. Maybe they're just looking after him, so they get a good reputation there. Who knows? Anyway, that's the way it goes. Let's jump into Hex, though. Hex having a little pump on the hourly. We've got Hex on the hourly there the last couple of hours there. So we really did get quite low, though. 2.421 cents there on the hourly. This is the hourly here. And we're currently at 2.44. So a little hourly pump. Is this a Hex token channel pump? I think it might be. It's just the way it goes on Hex token. Let's go over to the daily. So there it is. I'll say is it Hex token channel pump, and then everyone go, well, if you're going to take credit for the hourly pump, then you got to take credit for the bear market as well for the Hex chart. So I've got to be careful with what I claim, right? Got to be careful what you claim there. Anyway, it's a pretty good distribution phase at the moment. And new Hex holders, new Hexkins for maybe some older Hexicans there as well. Apparently, we also got DO1 account out there playing his games as well, or her games, whoever it might be. So there we are. There's still got a bit of drama there. So 2.45 cents is the market at the moment. We have bottomed out 3 times, as you can see in this chart, down here several times to 2.173 cents on the 5th, 7th of November. We've got 20 on the 28th. We add 2.327. And of course, on the 10th of the 16th of December, we had 2.2. We're currently at 2.45. That's kind of where we are on the daily at the moment. Now, the Hex narrative is pretty much tied to Pulsechain at the moment. Obviously, it has been for a long time since Richard talked about Pulsechain. And of course, we are waiting pretty patiently for Pulsechain at the moment. Now, that being said, of course, we've seen some amazing things during this bear market from second layer. So the Hex has gone from just being a Hex contract to a Hex ecosystem. We've had Maximus and icosahedron build on top of the Hex contract and take off billions, at least somewhere around 2 billion, I would say, give or take, off the market in terms of Hex, which is a big, big deal out of the public supply. So that's very exciting to see that. And of course, we need more of that with other initiatives coming up with the highest of stakes, Pulsechain and other things coming up, that the Hex Investment Trust, all that stuff to eat up more. The Power City Flex product on Pulsechain will help there on the Pulsechain side. So lots more we look forward to in that space as well. Now, people always get rewarded for tokens going off further into the future. So that pushes the low inflation rate down into the future there as well. So it's pretty cool. What else there? We've had quite a few days since the ETH proof of the stake has been in play. And we talked about this yesterday, but 98 days since then. So plenty of time for the Pulsechain team to check it all out. In fact, they found a bug, right? And of course, it's a bit of a competition between the Pulsechain team and the ETH team to fix that bug. We haven't done much about that. It's probably about 6 weeks ago or so. So that's kind of the play there. We are waiting based on the KDP rumors from Power City, and of course their talks from their developers to the dev team for Pulsechain, talking about hold off because we've probably got the testnet v3 coming out, and of course this will be the first version. That'd be very bullish, obviously, with the proof of stake version of ETH there as well. I do note there's a bit of drama around the ETH proof of stake. Some people not supporting it because they say it's not really decentralized. The people that are in the decentralized camp not really in favor of that proof of stake, saying it's too centralized and things like that. So there's a bit of a debate going on around the market about that sort of stuff too. I don't think it matters too much, but that's just the way it goes. So we're waiting for Pulsechain testnet 3. Maybe we were indicated that the substantiated rumor was that we're going to get within the next few weeks. So that's where we got Christmas, New Year from. That's kind of where we got this time frame from. We'll see how we go. We're already entered that sort of period that I had in here. So we'll see. I've got it going up to the 8th of January. So any time in here is fine. We'll be pretty happy about that. Even if it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like ETH withdrawals, or in this case, Pulse withdrawals, we'll still be pretty excited because that's not coming up anyway until the 14th of March. So that's our next big indicator there. The Shanghai fork of the ETH proof of stake, March 2023 is the expected time. EIP 4895. EIP 4895 And of course, that is with ETH withdrawals. Now you can imagine a lot of people staking ETH over on ETH proof of stake, a little bit frustrated, want to be able to take the ETH out. If the some, maybe some of them do. And of course, that is an issue coming up. So that's going to be resolved. After that, of course, ETH will look to upgrade into this beginning of its sharding and roll-up phases. And of course, moving into that next upgrade phase after the merge. So yeah, lots of cool things. This is the cool one here. We definitely, obviously, want that inside the Pulsechain. So whether they're going to launch before this time with or without the ability to withdraw, or they're just going to wait for this withdrawal feature to be upgraded instead, we don't know. We don't know what the team's going to have a look from that point of view. And whether they have access to the code and stuff like that. So that sort of technical knowledge outside of my purview. We'll have to wait and see there. Uniswap V3 license expires, of course, the 1st of April. I think that's more optional. And of course, I think the team, that's not really going to hold, I would think, hold the team up, unlike perhaps the ETH withdrawals. So it just depends on that one. So that's kind of in our time frame there. So I got Pulsechain launch here, which we talked about in full yesterday. Between maybe we've got a good chance between March, April, May there, and of course maybe on the second half side of that in particular, we will see. Richard, of course, going to launch when he can, and yeah, hopefully the timing's working out pretty well though. We've got through the worst of the bear market. I'm sure we've still got that final hammer to come, and that can be pretty gruesome. But then, of course, we've also got the Fed reaching its terminal rate. You can see that in the top there in the red, so reaching the terminal rate up here. And of course, this all could be perfectly timed. If you look at the timing, we get to the top of the terminal rate. We get a launch of Pulsechain. We've got all the ecosystem build out. We're about to get the Power City dApps on there as well. So we've got liquid loans, fiat, famous, internet money, all this sort of stuff. We're going to have Power City dApps out pretty shortly. The first one's Core and Amplifier for playing around with. So it all could play out pretty well with the timing. I think what this chart is trying to show you that the market and the fork and all the new features could play out pretty well in this time zone here. And even though this could be pretty gruesome in the short term, this outlook in the months ahead, it could be pretty awesome. And of course, the only place that has something that's exciting really going on is the Hexicans and the Pulsechain community. It's going to be pretty fun. Now, there are other projects out there that are more possible plays, more speculative. People are playing around those. That's crypto for you. You're not going to get anything else. There are tens of thousands of cryptos out there doing it. Some of them are better than others. And so we do talk about a few of them. All right, so that is the Hex chart at the moment. We'll see where we lie, 2.45 cents. And of course, we don't know when the bottom is, but we will see how we get on there. Let's get on to the Hex whale bot. We got 500,000 Hex 15 hours ago. We got some penalties out of that. 505 days out of 1625. Pretty insane in the membrane there. Who knows what goes on with some of these. Your friend Sonny says wallet 2EO has early in-stake and paid penalty, $6,500 penalty worth $125,000 at 50 cents. Went back at the all-time high there. Has one stake left, total 700K due May 2029. He got 4 million Hex back 699 days ago and sold it all for $1,350 to take profit worth $2 million at the top. And Insano and the Braino. So there we are. Let's jump into the next one. We've got Hex Alert here, 207,000 Hex are nuked. And of course, 1,048 days out of 3,725. And they nuked a lot of their Hex there. They did get a payout, 566,000 there. What else? What's someone put in there? Well, they put Hex for Dummies, staking like a pro. A reference for us all says Hex Alerts. That's pretty funny, man. That is pretty funny. Free e-tips at dummies.com. That's pretty funny. I might do a YouTube video on that. That's pretty hilarious. All right, so that's pretty much it on there. Let's have a look at this one. We obviously 23 hours ago. We've talked about this already, but this was pretty awesome with the 5,555,555 stake for 5555 days. Got 658 T shares for that. So that's kind of cool. And of course, we saw Richard Hart actually respond to that, didn't he? He said nice on that. So that was kind of cool as well. We're up to here. So 1 hour ago, we had 22 million stake for 94 days. This is one of these big, large stakers that just do short stakes. They got themselves 939 T shares for their help. And looks like we have had some trending on Twitter with the old Hexicon stuff on there as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's jump over to, we're going to jump over to the Hex chart. This is the global stakes. So we're going to have a quick look at this. Let me refresh this because it looks like it's having a little fit. So we're going to refresh this. And let's go down and check out the Hex Global Stakes and look at the T shares coming out at the moment. We're going to go down to, I guess, down to the 18th of December. That's a pretty good time. So the year ahead. Is this right? No, this has gone all wonky and weird. Sorry, everybody. This has gone wonky and weird. I have no idea. The page has gone freakzoid, so we'll have to leave that. The other thing, of course, the last update we had around Pulsechain was from Richard working on the mods to the Lighthouse prerequisite for Beacon Chain Explorer. So that's kind of a cool thing. It's a small update, but it's a cool update in the sense that maybe we'll get that testing it out right in the time frame as indicated by KDP there from Power City, because obviously getting the front end, being able to query the database, pretty exciting, and of course getting to scale it up to allow for larger numbers. Obviously with Pulsechain and PulseX having really large numbers, right? Particularly Pulsechain versus Ethereum, you know, in the trillions. Rather than the millions for this sort of thing. So that's really cool. And that may bode well as a little clue that maybe this is, we will get that testing it out sooner than later. And maybe it might not be the Christmas New Year. Maybe it might defer a little bit later into January, but we can have that cautious opium. And that's kind of as cool as well. They also said more AMM fix there as well. So they're doing a bit more around AMM. Not sure whether that's trying to refer to something around V3 asymmetric estimation, rather than them waiting for the license to be done and then run the AMM bot with that later on. So obviously that might push it out into the May period, April-May period. So we'll see. So that's kind of where we are at the stage. We did cover that the other day as well. They talked about similar to what was done for Prism and also Lighthouse. So obviously both of those being part of the Ethereum ecosystem, or in this case, Pulsechain ecosystem, and of course, part of the consensus software, right? With being a validator as well. So that's kind of where that plays in. All right, so let us jump away from that. This kind of update. Let's have a look at Hedron. Hedron at the moment, Sleepy Hedron is at 1333. And there have been some questions around the amount of deflation that occurred. But of course, this is a longer term time frame. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out there. It's got a lot of work to do in terms of deflation side of it. So that's kind of where that is at the moment. Now we're going to jump over to what are we going to here? Pulse. What is it going to do? The Acosa auctions. Yeah, I haven't pulled it up actually. Let me just pull up the Acosa auctions. Let me just do that for a second. Acosa. Oh, is that Acosa? Acosa. Oh man, I'm really misspelling this. Icosa. I'm doing I. I'm doing O. Icosa. Oh, no. I want Icosa. Let's do it. Icosa. That's the one. All right, Butterfingers today. Let's get into it. Launch, and I'm not even logged on, so let's do that. Man, I can't do anything properly on this thing today. Right, so cool. Oh, are you kidding me? Really? Oh, maybe I don't have that. Okay, let me see. Oh my goodness! Again, have I got the caps lock on or something? I don't know. Oh yeah, we did it finally. After Butterfingers, after that month, we finally did it. Let's get over to. Got to change the chain. There's a problem when you're jumping around so many cross chains, right? You're just getting all twisted around there. All right, so cool. We've got how many HSIs? 4,771 in liquidation queue that have not, and I repeat, that have not been pulled into the auction house, so people can start those auctions. How many we've got in the auction house at the moment? 46. 46 at the moment. Let's see if there's any big ones in here. There's always something for everybody, just about. So it's definitely worth looking at. We have seen what was numbers approximately around 750 or so that have been accumulating. Hex T-shares through this way and getting nice little juicy discounts. I think it was Brennan the other day said that he got a nice 30% discount on the T-shares. There's also been one big whale that been scooping up a lot of stuff as well in terms of got those last two 10 million Hex ones that were out the other day. And of course, they paid good Hedron, and which means good payments for people staking Hedron, Icosa, and of course the Watson NFTs. Kind of good there. So what else have we got here? I'm just looking for the really big ones. Got a couple of 300,000s in here. You got 642,000, so almost 80 T-shares. It's got 5.3 billion on it, but it's got 10 hours to go, so a long way there. A couple 100,000 Hex in here as well, 300,000, 300,000. So quite a few 300,000s in there, and a couple others there, maybe 10 of them are fairly decent size. but there's probably something in there for everybody. So definitely check that out. App.okoza.pro for the auctions, under HSI auctions if you want to bid and try and get yourself a deal. Make sure you do your mathematics for the valuations well, so you're getting a nice discount, not overpaying. That being said, of course, obviously we're in a bear market, so if the prices go up, then it's all upside, right? It's all cream on top. Right, so that's kind of cool for that. Let's jump over to the airdrops, and of course we've been covering Zen because Zen is a possible play, but with a short-term probable price pump possibly. So obviously it's got a log 2 function, and that's a function of your C rank. So when C rank is when you mint, you get a C rank, and of course the later you mint, the higher C rank, and of course it gets pushed into the log 2 function there, plus any early adopter bonuses you get. But of course most of the inflation's at the beginning, right? And of course there's no surprise there, right? A lot of projects have that, and yeah, this case is just done through that log 2 function. And of course here we are on the 15-minute chart. We can see that it had a bit of a rally yesterday. And of course, it's got front run, and it went up to 4,547. And remember that I was talking about this happening, and this has happened so far, and it may happen again. So stay tuned on this one. Once again, it is speculative. I must reinforce that it's speculative. But what is going to potentially drive this is the Zen NFTs and the burning inside that. And of course, remember, there's a lot of inflation coming up, but we're still at the early part of the inflation. And of course, you can see that on the Zen Turbo dashboard if you want to see all the numbers and how they all play together. So at the moment, the price is at 2,855. It did sell off a little bit down here. Once it got up to, had a spike up here to 4,500, went down to 2,500, and now it's back up at 2,000, almost 2,900 here. And of course, we're waiting for the big news. So let's jump over to Jack Levin. This is a free mint member. You can mint it on 10 different chains, but I think ETH is going to be the main chain. I think Polygon might be the second one, but the early bonuses are gone on that chain. Really, the ETH chain still got the early bonus. I think it's still 4.1% on the EAA bonus. Of course, this is it's free, but you have to pay for the cost of the network. That's pretty much it. Maybe around $3.50 a mint as well. So 21st there, we had Jack Levin say Zen NFTs audit report expected tomorrow. Our AI intelligent agents report at least 3 to 4 people prepping to mint as Zen unicorns. So remember, there are 3 categories of NFTs from this. There's the rare, there's the limited, and there's the common. And common is not so common, but it's called the common. And of course, will people, particularly with the rare, that's what's really grabbing a lot of people's attention, is the rare one, because within that is different categories, and the top category is a Zen unicorn, and that requires 10 billion, and I repeat, 10 billion Zen to mint that, and that Zen will be burned, which is a lot. So there's about 60 to 60, maybe 70,000, 60 to 70, there's probably, 70 billion in the liquidity pool, somewhere in that ballpark. In the liquidity pool at the moment. So you can imagine 10 billion burn would be a pretty big deal, particularly if people are having to buy that as opposed to having early mints where they've accumulated that up. So there's some be interesting play there. Now, obviously, some people have multiple wallets, so they might be grouping multiple wallets and minting those NFTs, but there will only be 100 of those Zen unicorns there, 10 billion. The next category down is 5 billion. And I think, I'm just trying to remember how many, I think there's 1,000 of those, 800 or 1,000, something like that. So there's definitely a lot of potential burning, and down you go as you go through those top tier rare NFTs. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out as well. Now we're waiting for the audit, of course. So that's been the news. That was only, how many hours ago did I say? 21. It was a day, just under a day ago. And of course we're waiting for the audit here. I don't know if it's come out. He did post here 17 hours ago about the users around the world. You can see there's people in Europe and Africa and Asia and Southeast Asia and Australia and places like that. This is on a real-time numbers. Let's jump over this one. This one here says wallets participating in minting Zen. That's got all the different chains, of course, and the numbers are pretty big. 195 million crypto wallets participating in the minting of Zen across 10 blockchains, and it's only 73 days since Zen was first launched. So there's a couple of plays I want to make here. This is my speculation. Well, the first bit's not the speculation, but I'm going to make some speculation here. The first one is, of course, this is playing on the network effect, right? So this is kind of an experiment in crypto, and it's always good to look at things like this. What I call it's a possible play, but it's a quality possible play, and it's going to be interesting to see the network effect playing out. 195 million wallets. It's got a long way to go in terms of confirming that up for me, but so far it's looking pretty good. The other side of it is, what is the end game? What is the end game? Now, if you look at the white paper for Jack Levin and Zen, it's all about mass adoption. And of course, by going multi-chain and of course getting out as much as you can, you're trying to get that network effect. But is the end game going to be using some of his contacts eventually? This is my speculation in this part. So is he going to try and get this to be so prolific everywhere on all his chains and so many minted out that he can go to, say, Google or something and say, hey, look, you could use this for a medium of exchange? Because remember, they're not looking at store exchange. So Hex is more of a store of exchange, whereas this is looking to be a medium of exchange, right? So quite different approaches there. And is he going to try and get some adoption like that using some of his contacts? Remember, he's Google Employee 21, so it's speculative there. But of course, those are the two core things there. Network effect, he always talks about, medium of exchange. And of course, he talks about other things like AI and things like that. So who knows what sort of business applications he's thinking about there. It's going to be interesting to see where this all ends up. At the moment, of course, he's gone from inflation with the log2 function. Then, of course, we've got the NFTs and the burnings to reduce the inflation. And, of course, then what applications of medium exchange could he have? Can he actually get this going into mainstream tech? That'd be quite the move. Quite the move. That part is very speculative, but he does have the door, the keys to the door potentially that other people may not have if he still has those relationships in place. So we'll see how that plays out. Very speculative, my point of view, but I thought I'd just add that in today. So we're waiting for that and see what happens to this chart. Here's the chart gone. Here it is here. Currently at 2,900. We will see how that plays out and what happens to the chart with this. It's going to be interesting over the next couple of days. All right, we are expecting it to officially launch just after Christmas, even with the audits come out. So we'll see how that goes. Now, in the meantime, also is the weight token. Most people are waiting for this. This is another big project from the Coast team. Now, this is coming directly onto Pulsechain, of course. We're going to have they're going to have fiat on-ramp, off-ramps. They're going to have stablecoin CST. They got this weight token that's being rewarded to people that sacrifice on Pulsechain, and 7 other different sacrifices. And of course, at the moment, it is currently just under a quarter of a penny, and that's kind of where it's floating in at the moment. But they've already hinted the fact there's going to be a weight 2 token, and that's going to apply for the midnight bonus, which is going to come up later on towards Pulsechain. The other thing, of course, is will people that hold the weight token, will they be able to benefit from some sort of revenue from this fiat on-ramp, off-ramp, or something like that? So let us know in the chat what you think about that. These guys have got a bit of a gamification on there. This weight token might get intrinsic value. It might get intrinsic value with that. So not just speculative value, but intrinsic value. So let's see how it goes with that. Now we're going to jump onto Coast because I actually didn't pull it up. I was meaning to pull it up, but let's pull them up and check that out. So we're really starting to explore a bit more here. So let's do that. And they've got a couple updates. On the 22nd, they updated of November. They said we have secured a banking partner for our fiat on-ramp. Final screens are being designed and we will be in public beta within a few weeks. Now, I haven't seen anything on that yet, but I'm sure that must still be pretty close. Maybe in the new year, we'll see. The MVP will allow users to buy USDC on Ethereum while we build out Pulsechain infrastructure. So very, very cool. They're not the first ones we've seen move due to Pulsechain not being out, getting their products out on Ethereum or on Binance Smart Chain. We've seen Internet Money. We've seen Coast here looking to do that. We've seen BNB Plot also. So there are a few out there doing stuff like that. We on the 21st of December, so this is quite a bit later. This is almost a month later from this update, which was a big update. We got this one here, update on fiat on-ramp. If we didn't make it clear, we are already accepted for operating in the USA. So we're just going to keep adding countries to the list. We want an easy Hex buying experience for both Ethereum and Pulsechain. So very, very cool. And they had another update here as well. This is on the 21st of December as well. Update from fiat on-ramp. Just heard back from regulators in the United Kingdom. They have confirmed that we are not subject to their regulatory framework. Free to operate and accept customers will be for Ethereum and Pulsechain. Is that awesome? So really cool stuff coming out. Now we just want to see the MVP out and get this thing kicking because that's going to be really, really cool. And of course, we're looking for the stablecoin CST, got the weight token and other stuff. So we're looking for this. This could be one of our AAA teams. Definitely shaping up for that. But of course, we have to see actions follow up the words. But so far, it's the words are pretty exciting. So let's look forward to more of that from the Coast team. Very, very excited indeed. All right, so cool. That is going pretty well. Man, I've got to do another ecosystem, Pulsechain ecosystem video, don't I? There's so much good stuff happening. I just want to make it so simple that people can just look, go, bam, that's the ecosystem coming again. I love those kind of videos, so I might look at doing that. Very exciting. All right, so that's cool for the weight token. You can find all these in our Discord underneath Pulsechain airdrops free claims. You can go check out all these ones and another one that's coming up in the future as well. Poor Pleb, this is our Poor Pleb. It really is a Poor Pleb one. You get about 1.4 million tokens for if you qualify. And, of course, this is currently at 2,766 with 5 zeros in front. And it's only worth, I don't know, is it worth like $2? Something like that, maybe $1.50, I don't know. Now, if you've got heaps of Genesis wallets with your sacrifices, if you're a sneaky little person and you made heaps of Genesis wallets for Pulse and PulseX or something like that, whatever, I can't exactly remember the qualifying criteria, but something like that, then you might be able to get many 1.4 millions. But still, even if you had 5 of those, it's only like maybe $10. So we'll see how this goes with Poor Pleb. But in any case, it is a sort of a free claim thing as well. We'll see what happens in that space. That is our airdrops, folks. That is our airdrops. And boy, we've got a bit of action happening there. You wouldn't think so, would you? You'd think, oh, it's just airdrop, just go claim and stuff like that. But no, these teams are doing some interesting things as well, particularly the weight and the Zen is pretty interesting to see that play out. All right, so cool. I don't think I had anything else on there. So we'll be waiting for the audit from Jack Levin as well. Let's jump over to the Pulse Bitcoin ecosystem, which has been the talk of the town. Before we do that, let's get into the chat so I don't get too far ahead. Let's see where we go here. We got up to Christian says, how many had 20 units? That's why they sold out. Yeah, they would have sold out really quick with the old Bitcoin miners there. We got through J-Man's in the house. Brian said he had the S7. We talked about that. StakeX says, hey, love the poll. Good one. Hey, we're coming up to the poll, by the way. After the Pulse Bitcoin ecosystem, we're going to get up to the Pulsechain and PulseX price predictions. That's the next topic. So stay tuned for that. We've got 96 votes. We're wanting 100. So if you haven't voted, get your votes in, folks. Fun at Christmas Pulsechain and PulseX poll. How many hex price returns in the future? Let's say 2 years plus from the all-time low, whatever that will be. Remember, Rack and Rochelle's had like 10,000x for both of them. So let's see what people say. We've got less than or equal to 10x, less than or equal to 100x, less than or equal to 1,000x, less than equal or greater than 1,000x. So you've got a really friendly option in there. Get in there and vote, folks. It's a bit of fun. We're going to close that poll off shortly when we get up to our friend on Twitter who's becoming a bigger influencer all the time. And, hey, we can help out with that on this channel. Very cool. It's me Casa, you Casa. And we're getting sharing the love, as it were. Christian says, I should mine my light is included in the rent. You should if you've got some ASIC tokens. Let's have a look here. Brian says, now I mine no corners in the hexagons. Well done there, Brian. Well done. That's great stuff. Brian's a legend. Tamanda's in house here. Pulse BTC is in the market. What's the contract address? If yes, you can find all those details in our Discord. So hit the link in the video description there, Tamana. And if you want any questions, let us know, because we've got 2 chats in there. We've got Richard Hart tokens and we've got Pulsechain project tokens as well. So definitely check that out. Brian, like a boss, is brilliant. He is. Sandy Beach says, I mine Pulse Bitcoin, then trade it for Hex. Yes, nice. A lot of people are doing that sort of thing. So often we talk about other projects that are not Richard Hart tokens, but we have quite a few people in our ecosystem, particularly in our community that's around Hex Token and or involved on Discord. A lot of people are taking that strategy where they're into other projects. They're trying to transfer wealth from that into Hex. So you do get a bit of that going on as well. Remember, when Pulsechain comes up, everything's going to get copied on the ETH chain over to Pulsechain. That means Hex as well. And we have pretty good confidence based on early indications from Richard Hart that the Hex liquidity pool could be pretty big between the ETH chain and the Pulsechain. And certainly the mechanisms are there to achieve that. So we'll see how that goes. J-Man says, so many great projects having Pulsechain. Very exciting future is looking bright for everyone who is getting in early. Yes, boy. That's right, J-Man. You are so right. Man, I'm going to hype myself up to do that video soon. That's for sure. They even got tablets to communicate with the world. No, it was me buying last year's Sandy Beach. You've been pumping one of these charts, Sandy Beach, while the price is on. Bitcoin, it's getting close to death cross on the weekly, says Brennan. I actually had that pulled up. You're talking about the 50-day to 200-day, right? I almost had that pulled up. I thought it was getting closer to a golden cross, but we'll see. I should pull that up on TradingView, actually. Christian's in the house there. Good to see Christian. Hashtag Hexkin is trending on Twitter again, Sandy Beach. That's been trending a couple times then. Brian says, CC, you will most likely need a 220 outlet for mining. RH says, better off buying and holding than mining. Just saying, I agree. That's what I said too. I have dealt in the past into mining Bitcoin stuff quite a bit. And there's a couple of different models. One of the best models actually went under as well, so it's kind of shame. But I never ended up getting involved with the hardware. Don't mess with the mining, CC. If you do, I promise your electric won't be free for long. Trust me. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if you could do it with Tesla if you're in the right place with high sun. That'd be interesting. Well, all we can do is save. So when Pulsechain comes, we buy. That's a very good advice from Christian there, or suggestion, I should say. King Teak says, finally made a live. Was just watching your last live. Lol. More content. Let's go, says King Teak. Hey, more. Welcome to the chat. It's very special. Merry Christmas to you as well. Please, can we get 50 likes? Yeah. Smash the likes button, folks. Definitely smash the likes. I'm pretty sure it helps with the algorithms. Tin Top's in the house to sell. What's up, Hexkins? What's up? Good to see you, Tin Top. Senior moment says living on crypto. It was a very senior moment there, living on crypto, unfortunately. I love crypto says, but seriously, Superman, awesome output. I appreciate that, living on crypto. What else there? We got DB in the house there. A tree fitty. Good to see DB. One day closer, sir. One day closer. Dave Downler says, I reckon give the devs a few days off over Christmas, then launch V3. Happy days. That's not too bad. I think we can trade that over, Dave. That seems like a fair trade. Dear Sir Brennan, I do not know when the moon mission to Pulse, sir. We are stronger together, says Michael. We definitely are stronger together. And Sandy Beach says she's still waiting for the weight token. Jamie says, I traded my weight for Hex. Yes, I know a few people that have done that already. Dear Richard Hart, please report mission to moon for Pulse, sir, says Brennan. Pablo Hex Cabars in the house. Happy holidays to all Hexkins. Hope all are well, spending time with their loved ones, riding the bear market like a boss during these tough times. Ho, 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 ho. Oddle, oddle, oddle. Happy Xmas, says Pablo Hexabar. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Pablo, as well. J-Man's in the house there with the rockets up and to the right. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's have a look here. Only 18 people. Smash it. Yeah, definitely smash the likes there. Sandy Beach says, I sold some small poor pleb for Hex a little while ago. That was a pretty poor pleb play, but we like it, Sandy Beach. Everything counts. Everything counts. Merry Christmas, says J-Man. Definitely Merry Christmas to everybody. We got A-Bit in the house there. What's up, everybody? Good to see A-Bit. Hey, a great video on the Pulse Bitcoin there, A-Bit, and, of course, your partner as well. But unfortunately, it went to somebody else, didn't it? So just the way it goes sometimes. But definitely, I thought your video was actually very competitive, to be honest. So nice one there. Hey, do a Hex one like that. That was a really good quality. I should do a Hex one like that, A-Bit, as well. I have been on Twitter. I've been on what's the platform? TikTok. But it's mind-numbingly, right? I watched like a minute of the stuff, and my brain's going to sogginess. So I can't stay on there. I was thinking about doing a lot of shorts on there, and I was just like, oh my, I cannot do this. It's going to be bad for my brain. Was it insane in the brain? Insane in the brain, something like that. It's going to be crazy. Thomas Turner says the Germans, lol. Yeah, Germans in the house. Brennan says, yes, 50 EMA crossing there, 200 EMA as a death cross. Yeah, no, I thought it was going the other way. I'll have to double check that. Hasn't happened in history. It will be interesting to see, says Brennan. And we got, who else? Let me just check this one. We got Brain Fassies in house, Thoschild. TT here. There you are, sir. Hope you and yours are well this season. Cheers, Hexco. Hey, you too, Thoschild. Merry Christmas to you. Right, let's get into it, folks. We are into the Pulse Bitcoin. Next topic, of course, is going to be Pulsechain and PulseX price predictions, so stay tuned for that. We got the Pulse Bitcoin here at $1.85. Had a bit of a breather yesterday, didn't it? Have a bit of a breather, not just yesterday, but last couple of days. And of course, let's have a quick look at this. This after the front run, this price reduced well before the transform ended. So it front run the end of the transform, but it did go down from the top there, down 55%, down to about $1.66. It's currently down 49% from that high. But it is up at $1.85, which is not too bad at this stage. Now, will we get that $20 that Pepe's talking about in the future? Well, it's early days. You can see in the chart, Pulse Bitcoin hasn't been around for long. It's did pretty much exactly what we said, right? We'd have a big price at the beginning. It would pull down, and then we'd get some parabolic. And, of course, now it's pulled down again. Not quite a new low on here, but it came down pretty far. And we'll be looking at it now. After the transform finished, now we can see what this thing can do over time and see whether it can do some more parabolics. We are in a bear market. We still have the potentiality for that final hammer to fall on crypto. We will see. It's going to maybe take some catalyst so the shorters can get in and short the Bitcoin. And maybe we'll get down to that 12K from El Capo. Maybe we'll get down to 11K and pray from Richard Hart. We will see. That is still a possibility, but not inevitable. But seems more probable than not, but not inevitable. That's the way I'd probably put that. So that is Pulse Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Pulse Dogecoin. Now, this is all the Pulse Dogecoin we've got left, remember? What did we say? About 2.6 million or something like that? I'm going to have to go and check on the blockchain now just to make sure we get the right one. Let's go to the daily and have a look at the daily here. We're going to get rid of the RSI. And this is where we are at the stage. So we're down off the top high, of course. Got up to a massive $11.12. Very exciting to see that. That bodes well for future price, by the way, because the fact that you pierced that $10, that's a good sign. Did come back quite a bit. Came back about 38% or 37%, down to $7.02. It is currently down 33% at $7.44. Nice green day in there. Watch this chart, folks. Watch this chart. If the whales are willing to support it, if the community keeps growing itself, we could see some fun things happen here. And of course, you don't need any physical ant miners to mine this. You just need the ASIC token, which is the part of the fun play there. So we'll be watching this one in due course. That's pretty much it. Let's look at the ASICs. Now, the ASICs is now not tied to the transform and minting of the ASIC token. It is free to run. So we'll be watching this too. Will this become the more scarcer play, more valuable play? We'll see. What's the market on the side? Pulse Bitcoin's more valuable. Pulse Dogecoin, the meme coin's more valuable because now there's only so much of it left. Or is it going to be the ASIC token because this is what you need to mine Pulse Bitcoin and Pulse Litecoin potentially in the future? We will see. Now, obviously, on top of this is the ATMs, and there's not many of those either tradable and readable and OpenSea. We're going to see how this plays. Now, this is where the next couple of weeks ahead going to show us the early direction of which one's going to do well there. I kind of feel that the ASIC's pretty valuable, though. We'll see how we get on. Some strategies to play out there. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it. Now, I was going to have a quick look at the Pulse Dogecoin supply. So let me have a quick look at that. PLSD. Let's go to the contract on. Let's go right and go to contracts and see how much is actually left. It doesn't tell us, does it? It doesn't burn it. It doesn't show us that way. I'm trying to think. Is there a function that does that? I can't remember now. A dead address has got 3.4 million in it. So we're gonna have to do a bit of calculation here, aren't we? Let me just do some quick maths here live. So we've got 6094. There may be a fast way of doing this, but we're going to do it manually. Minus 3,433,425. So there is 2,661,000 Pulse Dogecoin. Remember, this was given to Hex stakers. Just another one of those airdrops to Hex stakers back on the 20th of April. Now there was 6.1 million. There's only 2.66 million now left. So let's see how this goes versus the others. It's going to be fun to see. All right, cool. Pretty full coverage on that one. Let's jump back on that as well. Now we're going to get into the Pulse main event. So did we get 100 votes? We got 101 votes. Fun Christmas Pulsechain PulseX poll. How many price X returns in the future? 2 years from all-time low. Let's see how we go. First of all, though, we're going to go to Somni. And, of course, Somni, your friend Somni on Twitter is becoming a bigger influencer all the time. So big shout-out to him. I do enjoy his content and his perspective. And, hey, I agree with most things that he says. He's a pretty good insight. Some of it's speculative. Sometimes it may be just lacking certain insights on other things. But definitely one of my more favorite commentators out there. So a big shout-out to your friend Somni. Obviously, gives us lots of cool updates around the Whalebot and the activities. So big shout-out. And he's really good there. So it's good. We know we don't just have influencers on YouTube. You know, we are growing influencers on Twitter. And if Elon Musk has his way, Twitter's going to try and compete with long-form video formats and against YouTube. So we'll see how that plays out. And, of course, we have people getting onto TikTok. We have people getting on Instagram. We have people getting onto Rumble. We have people on Odyssey, on Minds. You know, really are starting to spread further and wide. So it's kind of cool to see. So he's got for your future reference, and because you are my friend, and he's talking to you and I guess, non-OA money. So talk about just the public money is the way I look at things too. So excluding the OA, for PLS and PulseX to be counted as my metric for market cap valuations. So he's looking at it from market perspective, but basically the same sort of thing as price. Pulsechain SAC there, 0.8 billion USD. PulseX SAC 1.1 billion USDC. And of course, price target guesses, and this is it here. Pulse does 125x to 100 billion market cap. And of course, PulseX does the 25x to 128 billion market cap there. So there's kind of your ranges that he's putting out there at the moment. Now he does have some comments in here. Someone says in 2.5 years, he goes, by the time December 2025 clicks over, 1.5 years after Bitcoin halving as well. That's the target. Let's say we're all cursed and there's a massive dark cloud on us. Add an extra year, December 2026. Best to prepare for the worst cases always. Of course, they don't always happen. Then it's nice. That's true. And he goes, it's not like the OA have 90% of the supply. I only counted the non-OA money, real users. I'm assuming the OA will be a benevolent dictator, he says, which is hilarious. I always see it as a financial operator, right? That's the way I look at it. And they only help support price in case of emergency, just like with Hex. So there we are, folks. That is your friend Somi. And I'm going to post the link to this Twitter and give him a follow. He's currently got, 3,760 follows. So if you haven't followed him and you do like this sort of content, definitely get him a follow there. So that is the link there as well for that one. So there we are. You can follow that. So that is the Pulsechain and price prediction from him. We like to cover other people's views on the channel as well, and not just my own, not just Overwatch's Rack and Rochelle's, not Richard Arts, but getting other people that like to commentate and have a pretty good educated opinion about things. So we've got, let's end our poll as well and get into there. Let me know what you think of that prediction. We've got Fun Xmas Pulsechain and PulseX poll. How many X returns? We got less than equal to 1,000 X. We got 44%. Woohoo! So that's pretty cool. Remember, Rack and Rochelle was talking about 10,000 X from the all-time low, whatever that will be. No one really knows. And of course, less than equal to 100 X, 23%. Less than or greater than X, 10,000 X, 23%. That's almost 1 in 4 for those number 100X and 10,000X. So very different perspectives from people. So that 100X, that kind of fits in pretty well with the Pulsechain forecast here of 125X. So at least at 1 and 4 there agree with Somi on that one. And 25X, well, I guess that's closer to the 10X there with 7% smaller there, but a lot more people, a lot more bullish. Now, he's not doing it from the all-time low. He's doing it from the sacrifice numbers and with respect to market cap. So it's approximation for the price. So that's pretty interesting, though. So not apples to apples, but certainly interesting there on the price appreciation. So cool. And that is pretty much it on there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to get into Hex Daily Stats, though. And, of course, have a look at that. Before we do that, we're up to day 1,115. Before we get into that, we're going to check out on the comments in the chat and see what people have thought about that as well. So let us get in here. We've got Stake Hex says Sam Bankman-Fried going to the same jail as Epstein. Nothing to see here. Move along. Oh my gosh, that'd be terrible. That'd be terrible. He's such a young guy to see him have a fate like Epstein. This is how bad these people are. They do stuff out, sort of basically almost out in the open. How bad this deep state Democrat Party is. It's horrific. What else there? We got Thomas Turner says thanks for getting info out. Nice one, says Thomas. Hey, you're welcome. And of course there is the link. Christian says I just checked my WhatsApp and I'm doing pretty good on the yield. I'm holding them for the long run. Well, you are, and so a lot of other people as well. We might actually have a quick look at Dev Huey. He might have given us an update on the Watsons as well. Dev Huey. Let's see what his update is. Let's jump over here. It's got some upcoming auctions in there. Let's jump into some of this. Normally gives us a WhatsApp update. He's doing, by the way, he's doing Icosa staking leagues coming up on a site with whales and sharks and everything. That's kind of cool. He's got 329 whales, Icosa staking league, 2,084 sharks, 4,970 dolphins, 2,928 squids, and 490 turtles. So that's kind of cool. I'm trying to find these What's NFTs stuff. I'm pretty sure he's got a recent update. No recent update there. Anyway, so that's cool. Let's get into Hex Daily Stats. We've got a day 1,115, folks. Hot off the press, 21st of December. Can you believe it? So close to Christmas, getting closer and closer. 2.446 cents, down 0.6%. on the previous day. And of course, we've got the payout per TCS 6.334. Another good day for Hex stakers. If you haven't checked out hex.com, check it out in the links in the video description. And of course, if you need any further help, get into our Discord. We've got plenty of people, moderators and community leaders that are willing to help you there as well. So cool. 6.334 is the Hex payout per TCS. Remember to always do your own investment due diligence. Obviously, nothing on this channel is investment advice. We got the share rate increase 12.1 increase today up to 25,340. Now, this is only going to keep going up and to the right, as we say. And of course, it creates one of those sort of closest thing to kind of an equal opportunity method for compound interest inside Hex. It's a very, very cool mechanism. And of course, Hex has pioneered that. T-share rate there is $620. Now, you can get this for a third of the price if you go out longer, pays better, up to 10 years. When you stake your Hex gets burned, and in return, you get these shares, and that's become part of the ownership pool. The ownership pool owns the reward pool. So it's kind of cool like that. The average stake length of Hexkins is 6.74 years, which is pretty impressive. We're around together for a long period of time, is basically what that says. APY rate, that's the annual percentage yield rate. It's a compound rate of return, and of course, yield and emergency in-state penalties. The yield is reflecting inflation, which is actually nominal inflation is up to 3.69. Effective inflation is something like a 1.3% or something like that. It wasn't a while, but I need to go and double check what that number came out at. But it's pretty low, the effective inflation. So 37.85% is pretty good day in the office. Paid out in Hex. Obviously, the price in US dollars can move around, as we see in the market. Liquidity there, 377 million Hex. So plenty of Hex for people to buy out there. And we've got sitting at 9.7 million US dollars in the pool and 1,268 Ethereum as well. So that is our liquidity pool there, folks. Every trading pair on the planet that needs some form of liquidity. And of course, particularly decentralized uses AMM bots, AMM pools, I should say. So that's cool. T-shares. So Hex is easy to understand, as I always say. We've got a ownership pool, reward pool with Hex inflation and penalties. And then we have an ownership pool with T-shares, which stands for trillions of shares. If the ownership pool or the reward pool goes up or down each day, then Hex payout per T-share goes up or down. But generally, it's just going up over time, right? So that's what we're expecting to see and accelerate too over time. So it's pretty good to be a Hex staker. And it's up 985 T-shares today to 10,247,828 inside that ownership pool. So cool. Let's have a look. We'll jump over to the stake percentage. 9.71% of Hex is staked at the moment. 1.3 million in Hex penalties. So another good day there. We can see 9 out of the last 10 days was over 1 million Hex penalties. 50% goes to T-share stakers. The other 50% goes to the origin accounts. And of course, that helps to lower the inflation rate as well. Not only that, but the OA has also got some percentage staked as well. Last time I checked, I think it was around 7 billion Hex or something like that. So it's also helping to reduce the inflation that way too. So very, very cool mechanisms inside the Hex to keep that effective inflation low. It's pretty cool. Now that does assume, of course, the OA never sells, and so far it's only shown that it's been supporting the staker class. So staker class always gets rewarded, it seems, in the Hex ecosystem. So current holders up 37 to 314,482. That's the number that you'll see on Etherscan. And of course, the stakers up today. Woohoo! Nice jump in stakers back up to what we normally expect there, 68 up to 116,458. So it's good to see that. We did have quite a weak period for the last sort of previous 10 days or so, but it's starting to get back to looks like normal here. And as Richard Hart always says, get out and do some direct promotions, even at Christmas time. Maybe put a little Christmas thing on it, but that's the way to go. So total holders up 151 to 517,835. Rock on. This is the size, kind of a size indication, all these numbers here about how big Hex is on ETHchain. Imagine it's all going to get copied over to Pulsechain. These numbers will start to separate as each chain operates different with different behavior. But you can imagine that. And then, of course, in addition to that, when the Pulsechain launches, how big is the Richard Hart ecosystem going to be? Massive, massive. We've heard numbers around 300,000. I imagine it's going to be much, much bigger than that. And it's really going to make itself known as decentralized crypto, particularly Pulsechain, starts to take over more of the crypto market share. Watch and wait for that to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nothing but domination is, I think, in Richard's mind. And it's just patience until that point. He's going to, once he starts pulling the triggers, it's going to be a lot of fun to see that play out. In the moment of day 1,116, we've got a base amount of 6.265 for the Hex payout. Not too bad at all. Pretty good. All right, so cool. Let's just jump away and check out hex.com, of course, and links in the video description. And of course, if you haven't followed Richard Hart, of course, follow him on Twitter. He's got how many followers? 290,000 followers, heading up towards that 300,000 mark. We're looking forward to that. We got a BTC at the moment, $16,838. ETH at $1,215. Those are currently where the market is at the moment. Hex at the moment at 2.453 cents. And of course, Hedron at 13.33. We'll see how we get on there. I'm just going to jump to the hourly there. We're going to wrap up in a second. But let's get this into auto tune here. This is the hourly chart on Hex. Having a couple good hours here. Hex Token channel hourly pump. This is the way it rock and rolls on this channel. A good day in the office is Sandy Beach. A good day indeed. Michael says extraordinary gain incoming. Yo, yo, yo. Good to see you, Michael. What else? We've got a few comments here by Christian as well. Michael loves the free copies. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I suspect that we're going to have two strong chains. Obviously, we've got the proof of work chain, and we've got the ETH Fair chain as well, ETH Power and ETH Fair. But I think that these Ethereum and Pulse chain are going to be two very strong passive incomes. So being Hexkins a pretty good thing. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token. I have to start my binge watching of Emily in Paris. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy Sandy Beach. That sounds pretty fun to me. And peace, everybody, says Tom Turner. Have had fun with you all. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll catch you all guys tomorrow. And I hope you guys have had a good time. Let's party on out on this way out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And, of course, I'll see you in Discord as well. Bye for now. If you want to join this channel as well, hit the join button. We've got Pulseskins, Xskins, and the Richard Hart Club. A great way of supporting the channel. Catch you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. Take care.
Your Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Richard Hart here with my $6,000 or $9,000 Palm Angels Moncler fiber optic crossover jacket collaboration. We got some Uggs shoes, we got some Moncler pants, we got some crystal Moncler Palm Angels glasses. Just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and love. Hope you're having a great day.